Hello, everybody. We're back again, and where we left off with the 2600s, ARP 2600s. I think last time we talked, we actually were measuring the voltages on the power supplies plus and minus 15 volts. This is the power supply that went bad on me, and I changed all the capacitors out. This was the other power supply that goes with this particular 2600. Nothing was wrong with it, but I wanted to change all the capacitors because they were very old. So what I did after we got all the voltages going, that's where we left off last time, is that I was tying the grounds together with the two power supplies so we wouldn't have any ground loops. And as soon as I did, uh, this one synthesizer just stopped working. I says, "What's going on here?" So I says, "This is not right." So anyway, I went through and I measured between these two power supplies here, and at that time I measured, and it was 15 volts between grounds. Grounds are supposed to be at zero, not 15 volts apart. So I knew that there was a short somewhere. I didn't know exactly where it was. And so I'm going up and down. And so finally I decided I would pull off each one of these until maybe I could locate it. These are the terminals for the 15 plus 15 and minus 15 volts on each one of these oscillators or each one of these boards. So as I was moving up and I pulled it out, nothing happened. And I pulled this one out, nothing happened. And I pulled this one out, and all of a sudden there was this wire. This wire here, off of this supply, was up here, and it was caught in between. And evidently the ends of this was touching a ground, and it was must have been a plus 15, was plus touching the ground of this unit, and that was giving this false reading. Oh my gosh. I've been working on that for about 24 hours. I went to sleep one night trying to figure out what I did wrong. Okay, so the lesson in this is why was this cable up there by itself? Well, remember, these units used to have separate each one had a keyboard that operated the voltage control oscillators. And this was the cable that went to the keyboard. Well, we didn't use this in Leo. We used a completely different keying system, a voltage control system from the Paseta keyboard, Armin Paseta built back in the 70s. And so we didn't need these anymore. So I guess we cut them off on one end and then forgot to take it off on the other end. Well, anyway, for almost 40 years, this thing's been working fine until I tried to fix the power supply. Oh, well, that'll teach me. I'll never do that again. Okay. Anyway, so now we're in a position where everything was starting to seem like it was working right. But as soon as I got that straightened out, I had to go back, and because one of the oscillators wasn't working right, oscillator number 1 on the lower 2600. So now it wasn't working because the voltages by that time had changed again. And as soon as I found out what the problem was, I was able to readjust the voltages. And so now we're going to test this, actually watch the waveform on oscillator number 1, and it actually breaks out in the back down here. So you can look here, and you can't hear. Let me go over and turn the speaker on so you can actually hear it. Now you can hear that. That is a square wave, that's a square waveform. And if you look down here, you can sort of look at it and see that it's not really square, but at least these have to be symmetrical in the fact of how wide the negative and the positive side of them should be about equal. When they're not, this is what happens. And this is the adjustment I had to make to align it. There's a symmetry knob control right here. Now as I'm turning it, you'll notice the sound is changing. And what was happening is that this was completely turned off. And if you go over and look at the oscilloscope, Julie, you'll see there's nothing there. Now you see the difference, and you can hear the difference in the sound as you see the difference actually in the waveform. So I can't see the waveform from over here, but that may be pretty symmetrical. Yeah, that's pretty good. Sometimes you use your ears for understanding what the sound is going to be like. So anyway, that's getting close. I can get it closer when I pull this over here where I can see it. But now we're ready. Everything is doing great. I'm going to see if I can get a little sample and hold music going for you. Adjusting here the filter. I'll bring another. Here we go. This is another oscillator coming in. Now we got 3 oscillators going. And let's see if we can get this other one going over here. Now we got all 6 oscillators going at one time and being controlled with the randomness of white noise generator. Sample and hold. This is fun. This is why we do this stuff. Not to make any sense, but to make a lot of noise. All right, I think we're about ready to put this thing back together. And thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you later after we get it back together with Leo. Have fun. It's changing frequencies.